In this 1-hour special, you'll see an entire week in the field with a group of herpetology fanatics as we take a deep dive into the South Florida wilderness. We'll show you snakes, lizards, turtles, and crocs, both harmless and deadly, native and invasive, endangered and abundant, as well as a few birds, mammals, and amphibians we found along the way. This content is created for the whole family, so grab your popcorn and get comfortable. Get ready to laugh and learn as we explore the amazing and elusive kingdom of reptiles. In 2010, these young dudes drove down to Florida for a week-long reptile excursion. My friend Harvey's from the big city, and I'm from Amish country, and it was one of our last great adventures together. That same year, our wives started having babies, and it was a lot harder to get away. But 13 years later, when our boys were old enough to join us, we decided to head back down for a father-son trip of a lifetime. This is that story, the Everglades adventure of Jesse, Kenny, Harvey, and Harvey Jr. This is my longest video so far, and we boiled more than 60 field hours into just over 60 minutes on YouTube. I hope you'll watch all 7 days of the adventure and subscribe to our channel, but I also added chapters in the description, just in case you want to click on your favorite species and jump around a little. Here we go. Day 1 was a lot of driving. Harvey picked us up in Pennsylvania and we drove through the night. About 20 hours later, we made it to Florida. The Welcome Center actually had a working payphone, which was kind of cool. Immediately we started flipping rocks and we found our first reptile. This little gecko was a welcome sight because we don't have those up north. I guess it was nothing major, but at least we were on the board. Then we took the kids to our first Buc-ee's, which you have to go to if you've never been to one. We even met Bucky the beaver. Day 2 started off kind of slow in this giant state park. We did find some reptile eggs, which was cool. It's always fun finding the nest. And we found our first gopher tortoise burrows, but otherwise not much to see. Day 3 is when things really started to get interesting. Harvey suggested a beautiful area he had been to before, where he had seen alligators and tortoises, and there were rumors of rattlesnakes. Someone just told us they saw one, or actually saw 2, right down this trail.
Baby one.
They said a little baby one was right on the road, and a much bigger one was somewhere here in the plants.
He said on the right side, right?
Yeah, he said on the right side. So, yeah, this is the right side here. So just keep your eyes peeled. Beautiful, pristine habitat over there. My friend Harvey's from New York City. So whenever we get together in the wild, I always have to give him a hard time. Look, I found all the snakes so far in this trip. I'm waiting for you to do your part. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta find all of them, but one every once in a while. Harvey's actually a very smart reptile dude, and he's a great buddy. Check it out, there's a burrow. So let's scan around here. There's a burrow, that's where we're gonna find the rattlesnakes. Scan around that area over there, Harv, where there's a little sun opening in cover. There's more burrows around here. They gotta be right around here. When you're searching for rattlesnakes, it's a good sign when you can find gopher tortoise burrows. The burrows of gopher tortoises become shelters for many other animals, including rattlesnakes. Hey guys, here's a gopher. Now, we cannot touch a gopher tortoise. They're protected, but see how this is a tortoise burrow? So we're gonna go take a look. Sometimes you can actually see the tortoise inside of there. So I'm gonna zoom in. Can you see that tortoise? So that tortoise, that's his butt end in there. Try to get a good picture of him. So he's in there, there he is. So we're not gonna bother him. We'll let him come out on his own. But that is the gopher tortoise burrow, and they love to share with rattlesnakes. So we just gotta keep our eyes peeled. They're right around here. We gotta be careful we don't end up stepping on one. When you're only an inch tall like a rattlesnake, it's very easy to get stepped on. I'm over here with this tortoise. I'm over here with this tortoise. Did you guys find any yet? Anyway, so this is the second tortoise I found already.
What?
Yeah. Well, the first one was in a burrow when you guys ran off, but you can see that one over there by the tree. Wow. Isn't that neat? I saw a burrow on this side too. I think that tortoise is right outside of her burrow. On this side, you can see that burrow right there.
Yeah.
So let's just poke around, make sure there's no rattlesnakes right around the edge of it.
Where did you find the other tortoise?
The other tortoise was back on the side of the lake. That one was still inside of its burrow. But look at all this beautiful habitat. While scanning the bushes for rattlesnakes, we kept coming across these giant brown lizards with the yellow stripes running from their head all the way down the side of their body. Oh, look at that one head bobbing at us, trying to show us he's in charge. These are the common basilisk lizards. The basilisks are an invasive species in Florida. They're native to South America, and look at the way they run. In many parts of the world, they're known as the Jesus Christ lizards because they can run so fast. Look at the way their legs are taking them. They can run so fast, they run right across the surface of the water. Well, obviously, we are not finding the rattlesnakes nearly as quickly as we were hoping to, but it's pretty hard to be disappointed when you're surrounded by these adorable tortoises. The gopher tortoises are found throughout the southeastern United States, and this is what they do all day. They're herbivores, so they're going to go around looking for grass to munch on. They might eat some grass, they might eat some other plants, maybe flowers or fruits, but they're on a vegan diet, so everything they eat is growing right out of the ground. It may look like he has a white mark on his back. That's actually sand from the top of his burrow. Guys, we're getting so close. We are just surrounded by tortoise burrows. As you can see, they're everywhere. This beautiful, magnificent habitat. And one thing you know about tortoise burrows, where you have tortoise burrows, they're documented to share their habitat. They're holes in the ground with over 140 different animals. So one of the animals we're hoping to find is snakes. So far, we found one skin that is, we think, an eastern diamondback skin. And now I want to show you, we found something else right next to this burrow. So here's a tortoise burrow. Now we're walking not far. Everywhere we step, there could be a diamondback. So we need to be really careful. These things are so camouflaged. When you get next to them, you won't even see them until you're almost right on top of them. Guys, do you see what's right here? Is some sort of a long snake skin. I'm gonna guess by the shape of it, it's not diamondback. You have a great look with the giant eyeballs and the pointy nose. Anyone who knows snakes, they know this is clearly black racer skin. Now, black racers love to eat rattlesnakes. They eat a little bit of everything. They're super hard to catch, they're super fast. But somewhere around here, there's more racers, more tortoises, and we know there are more rattlesnakes. So now that I have this racer skin, look at how long that thing is. Now that I have this racer skin, I know we're in the right snake spot. So we're gonna keep looking around here. Hopefully the next snake skin we find is still gonna be attached to the snake. Well, I got my wish. The next skin we found was still attached to the snake, but it was not a rattlesnake. It was another racer. Still hard to complain though when we saw so many tortoises in tortoise burrows all day long. Look at how cute they are, just escaping the heat, hanging out at the very edge of the burrow, just enjoying the Florida sunshine. You'll never know exactly what else is in the burrow, but back behind that tortoise, it could be a pile of rattlesnakes. It's okay though, because we had a pretty big surprise waiting for us that night at the condo. All right, Kenny, tell us what we're doing right now.
We are following a manatee, and we're waiting for it to come out of the waters. So you have to follow its bubbles and it makes. It's really
Yeah, it's got these weird circles.
Oh, no,
If you can see those weird circles popping up. He hasn't come up for a couple minutes, so we expect he's gonna come up soon. There he is. There he goes. And finally, we got a good glimpse of him, but he was way ahead of the bubbles. There he is. Hey, buddy. Look at that big guy. So much fun. Yeah, let's play some football.
Here?
Yeah, right here. What do you think, Ken? Your first manatee, right?
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
It's cool.
So that night we threw the football around while manatees swam all around us, and I got an important text from a jogger we had met on the trail that morning named Matt. Matt sent these videos of several rattlesnakes he had been seeing all over the trail recently.
Bro, I almost stepped on this one. Hey, watch out, there's a rattlesnake right there. Look, those people right there, they were coming with their dog. Didn't even see it. Look at this fat boy. Number 5 or 6, I don't even know.
Matt had seen so many rattlesnakes on that trail, he had actually lost count. We were definitely going back there in the morning. Hello folks, day 2 out here on this beautiful trail. We're getting so close to finding some rattlesnakes. Yesterday we found shed skins from racers. We saw 4 southern racers. They're all over the place. We came so close to finding the rattlesnake. We found a shed skin from a diamondback, and we ran into a jogger who told us he had just seen 2. He actually sent us the video of 2 different rattlesnakes that he saw on his morning run.
We should go to that spot.
Well, we're basically in that spot right now, on the way to that spot, but he said he's seen 6 rattlesnakes here. Yesterday, I think we got out here a little bit too late. They were starting to already go under, it's getting too hot, but we're seeing some cool stuff. We're seeing basilisks, we're seeing tortoises, there's tons of racers. There's a number of different snakes we could find here. This would be a lifer rattlesnake for all of us. Seeing a lifer means it's the first time you're encountering that species in the wild. It's a really big deal for nature people. We have all seen multiple different kinds of rattlesnakes in the wild, western diamondbacks, timber rattlesnakes, pygmy rattlesnakes, but none of us have seen the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. The long shadows on the trail tell you that the sun is just rising and it's a perfect temperature for snakes to be waking up and starting to move. We were all getting excited to find our first rattlesnake. Harvey Jr., what do you think about your first rattlesnake? Is today going to be the day?
Yeah.
Harvey Sr., what do you think about finding your first rattlesnake?
I'm optimistic.
Kenny boy, what do you think about finding your first eastern diamondback today?
I would be happy, I guess.
For those of you guys who don't know, the eastern diamondback is the largest snake in North America. Largest as in heaviest. The indigo is the longest, but the eastern diamondback is the heaviest. So it's a very substantial sized snake. Hopefully any minute now, we're going to be finding our first eastern diamondback rattlesnake. The trick to finding snakes in the wild is being in the right place at the right time. Of course, the more time you put in, the more snakes you're going to see. And sure enough, we found our next snake right here on this trail. There's a racer right over there in the grass, and I think this is one I'm going to be able to catch. Harv, why don't you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Just gonna go that way. There he goes. Oh gosh, he's so fast.
You want that one?
We missed another racer. Well, that's our now 5th racer we've seen here, and we have not seen one rattlesnake. But the fact that we're seeing snakes out, if the racers are getting out to bask, the rattlesnakes got to be getting up to bask soon too. So the search was back on. I don't know why it always feels this way, but it seems like people who don't want to see snakes end up finding them, and when we go out looking for snakes, gosh, it's like a never-ending journey. So we were putting in our time knowing that not every snake is going to be hanging out right out in the open. In fact, usually it's the opposite. Most of the snakes that I've seen are in these edges that I keep walking around here. So you need to slowly scan, you need to find the edges that offer both sun and camouflage from the vegetation. Sort of like this little nook back here on the edge of the trail. So we just carefully go through all of those and we scan all the little hiding spots, and before long, we know we've got to come across the prize that we're looking for, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Guys, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We're walking this trail. It's snake 30 o'clock right now, and I look right in the sunny side, and we got our first eastern diamondback. Do you guys see it? First ever eastern diamondback for all of us. Yeah. Beautiful snake. Beautiful snake. Let little Harv up here to see it. What a beauty.
It's right up there. Step up.
Don't get too close though.
Can you see it behind the tree?
Yeah, don't get any closer than that, Harv. Real beauty. Wow, we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Ken, what do you think?
It's cool.
That's pretty dope.
So this is our first eastern diamondback for all of us.
It's really shiny.
He is very, very shiny. Don't get too close. We want him to feel like we're not even here yet. Wow, beauty. All right, do you mind if I pull him out on the trail?
Yeah, go ahead.
There he is. Oh, gorgeous, man. This is it, guys. This is our eastern diamondback. This is the snake we've been waiting for all this time. We're just gonna keep him in here. Oh, such a beautiful specimen. People say they're aggressive. He's not aggressive. He's just letting us know he's right there. What a beauty. Been waiting for so long, hoping to see one. Finally, we found one. Put in a little bit of time. Just doing our due diligence. Finally, we got him. Guys, this is the moment we've been waiting for. This is the largest snake in North America, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Now, a lot of people like to call them aggressive, but I'd like to point out, I'm here just a few feet away from him. You notice how he's not approaching me? This is not an aggressive snake. This is a defensive snake. He's generously giving us warning. He's letting us know, don't come any closer. I don't want you to get hurt, but he has not moved an inch toward us. Whew, so nice to find the snake we've been looking for. Ooh, what a beautiful day. I know, pal, I know. Oh my goodness. Dude, this is so classic. As conservationists, we always want to leave wildlife in the wild, but as educators, we want to take good pictures and videos. And as dads, we love doing this kind of stuff with our kids.
What do you think, Harv?
Pretty cool.
What do you think?
Pretty cool.
First eastern diamondback, that's pretty sick. First for all of us.
It is, yeah. Hey, Harv, move around a little bit, get his tongue going. There we go.
First one, man. What is it? What time is it?
It's just after 9.
9 o'clock. Sun just starting to really beat down in the sand.
For some people, that's a sound that strikes fear into them, and it's a sound that, of course, you need to heed the warning of. But for me, it's a beautiful sound. I love being here. I love being with the rattlesnakes, one of my favorite animals in the world. And just like that, our rattlesnake adventure had ended. Immediately, his camouflage kicked back in, which makes you wonder, how many rattlesnakes did we walk right past today? We just want to put the animal right back. You always respect the animal. Let him go back there. He's going to keep buzzing probably for a minute or two. Dude, Harvey.
Mission accomplished.
How do you feel right now? I feel good.
Exhilarated, honestly.
I mean, I've been on so many trips in Florida and Georgia and throughout the Southeast looking for eastern diamondbacks, and finally, we promised the boys we'd take them for ice cream, fishing, and to the beach. So let's head back to the car. But even on the way back to the car, we were still running into more reptiles, like this cute little tortoise who was out grazing. It was really an amazing day for reptiles. From racers to rattlesnakes, tortoises and lizards, we were having our best day yet. But it was about to get a whole lot better. So we ran to the beach, we had our ice cream, and then we hit the road because we had big plans for day 5. We were going to Everglades National Park. The spot we wanted to check out was almost 3 hours away, so we were going to have to get to bed early and wake up about 3:30 in the morning. So like a tortoise returning to his burrow, we were all ready for a good night's sleep. Everglades National Park is the third largest national park in the contiguous United States. The glades are a network of woods and wetlands that flow through more than 1.5 million acres on Florida's southern coast. It contains the largest mangrove ecosystem in the Western Hemisphere, and is one of the only places in the world where you can find both alligators and crocodiles. It is home to many threatened or endangered species like the Florida panther, the West Indian manatee, and my personal favorite, the American crocodile. Florida is a mix of both native wildlife and exotic invaders. It's estimated that close to a quarter of all fish, birds, mammals, and reptiles in Florida are invasive species. Photos like this one showing a native alligator competing with an invasive python are unfortunately all too common. There's no way you can see the Everglades all in one day, but we were going to do our best. We got on the road long before the sun came up, and we were greeted by two very cool animals as soon as we reached our first spot. Got a little osprey nest here at Flamingo Bay. The mom was sitting with her chicks, and she loved to talk. Even though she was surrounded by people every day, she still kept a close eye on us. On the other side of the dock, we were surrounded by manatees. We were still so close to the osprey nest, we could still hear her talking. Hey, buddy. Kenny, Harvey, what do you think about that?
That's really cool.
It's amazing. Harv, this is crazy.
Sure is.
Hey, buddy. Flamingo Bay is one of my favorite areas of the park, and these rare mammals will come swim right underneath your feet.
They are
So big.
Their eyes are weird.
Mm-hmm. Now, as cool as that was, we still had bigger plans for the day. We were planning to hike a great snake trail that morning, film gators and crocs in the afternoon, then road cruise for more snakes around sunset. We were also hoping to check out a tip we got about a wild chameleon spot, so it was going to be a full day. But first, we needed to meet up with our friend Bob, who's one of the best wildlife photographers you'll ever meet. One of the awesome things about herping is that you never know who you're going to run into, and even though we're all the way down at the very southern tip of Florida, we ran into another friend from Pennsylvania, one of the best herpers in the world.
We live an hour and a half away from each other and never get out at home, and here we are.
In the middle of the Everglades.
Running into each other. It's wild.
What are some of the snakes you imagine we're going to see on this trail, Bob?
I think before we're off it, we should see some Everglades Racers, maybe a pygmy rattlesnake or two. If we're lucky, we can get some of the other diurnals like Diamondback, Brooks King Snake, which would be my favorite, or maybe even a Burmese Python.
So tell us, you were out last night, and there are a lot of snakes that come out at night in the park. What are some of the snakes you got lucky enough to see in the park and just outside of the park?
So last night, and it is winter, so you're not going to see as many, but I did really well. I got 6 live species. Some of the common ones were a ribbon snake, a Florida water snake, and a garter snake. But then a really beautiful Florida Scarlet snake and a 9-foot Burmese Python. And I'm missing one.
Wait, say that again. How big was this Burmese Python?
It was 9 feet, and it was pretty strong. I mean, and they get a lot bigger, but you know, 9-foot berm can put a hurting on you if you make a mistake, so.
Yeah, right around 8 or 9 feet, that's what I start to call a 2-person snake. We work with a lot of snakes, a forgotten friend, that are like 8, 10, 12, 13 feet. Once you get past 13 feet, it almost becomes a 3+ person snake. But 8 or 9 feet, that is a lot in captivity. And when it's a wild snake, how does a wild Burmese Python react to people?
It's a lot different because, you know, to the Burmese Python trying to cross the road, you are a predator ready to eat it, so it fights back. And even though you might, like, you know, control the head, the thing will wrap and can wrap both of your arms together. That's when people get in trouble. So I usually try to keep one arm out of the way, and that's just something I've learned through experience along the way and by talking to python hunters. So that's something to keep in mind with these big wild snakes for sure.
Guys, we've been at it all morning. We've been out here a couple hours. Our first snake is right behind me. It's not the coolest snake we're hoping to find, but it is a lifer for me. It's a type of snake we have home in Pennsylvania, but not this actual species. So this is pretty cool southern variety of a snake that we get to see in the north. Let's see how close we can get to it before it disappears. So over here on the branch, we're not going to get too terribly close because these guys are fast. This is an Everglades Racer, which is a little bit different than the northern racer that we have up in Pennsylvania. The racers eat all kinds of stuff. Racers can eat venomous snakes. They can eat other snakes. How many of these Everglades Racers do you think you've seen?
Just along this trail on a good morning, you can see 4 to 6 of them. So looks like the timing's right now. So hopefully we'll see a few more and then a few of their cousins on the way out.
Harvey, how many snakes are you going to find for us today?
2.
That's not enough. Well, it turns out Harvey Jr. was exactly right. We only found 2 snakes that morning, and they were both Everglades Racers. Even though we didn't find our target species of pygmy rattlesnakes or Brooks king snakes or any of the other cool snakes that live down that trail, we were off to a good start. The snakes were on the move, and we had a whole afternoon ahead of us full of alligators and crocodiles. Hey guys, we're at the next phase of our adventure. The only place in the United States of America where you can go kayaking with crocodiles. There are many places that you can see American alligators, but we are in extreme southern Florida in the Everglades, which is one of the only places in North America that we can see American crocodiles. We don't know where they are. They could be all around us right now. We're only a couple inches above the water. They could be under our boat right now. You can see it's great habitat, plenty of food for crocodiles. So somewhere along these banks, we're hoping to see some crocs. Earlier today, we were closer to the boat launch and we got to meet Freddie. Freddie is believed to be a 50-year-old crocodile. He's a 16-foot croc. Freddie is the dominant male. He is the main crocodile. This is his territory. They said a couple months ago an 8-footer came in, tried to challenge Freddie for the territory. Freddie bit him in half and carried the dead crocodile around the water for 3 days just to show everyone it is his territory. Freddie could be right under our boat right now. We saw him earlier. We didn't see where he went, but we're gonna keep heading up towards that bridge where they told us the crocodiles are hanging out. And hold on, I think we see one, Kenny. Oh, look at him. He's almost hard to see. He's almost impossible to see. He's right behind these branches. Get a good look. Can you see him back there, guys? There he is. So there's his tail.
Wait, is it a baby?
That is a juvenile. The baby would be maybe about 6 or 8 inches long. So you can see this is the way they hang out. They're right up in the branches. You wouldn't even notice them. We zoom out. Would you notice a crocodile in that pile? Does that look like a crocodile to you? But if we go closer, sure enough, there he is. Even when we weren't seeing crocodiles, we really enjoyed the father-son kayaking trip. The boats are very easy to rent at Flamingo Bay, right in the park, and it gives your legs a good break if you've been doing too much hiking. The first time I visited the park back in 2010, they had a lot more open banks that were in view of the public, so we could see the really big crocodiles out basking. Even though we didn't see as many big ones this year, there were still a few more crocodiles we were going to find in the branches. There he is right at the edge. They are so hard to see. Can you guys see him? He's camouflaged right there. Great look at him. There he is. Just going to drift, not get too close. Always want to give these guys plenty of space and respect. You can see how easy it is. You could probably have 100 boaters go by here and not notice that's actually an American crocodile. If you ever get the chance to go kayaking with crocodiles, I think you'll be glad you did. Next time we hope to go even farther, but we still had some alligator spots we wanted to explore on foot, so we headed back to dry land. Well, that was awesome. We got to kayak with crocodiles today. That is not something I get to do every day. We didn't get to see the big crocodiles out basking like we were hoping to. They just didn't have the sandy banks that they used to have when we were here 13 years ago. So we didn't get the photographs and the footage of the big crocs that we were hoping to get. So when I was talking to one of the workers at the dock, he said there's an even bigger crocodile than Freddie about 12 miles from there. He told us what pond we can hope to find him in. They said that one is so big, they call him Croczilla. They said he's already bigger than Freddie. He's younger than Freddie. He's still growing. He's in his prime. And they said this is about the time of day that Croczilla comes out on the edge of the pond to bask. So that's where we're off to now, hoping to see our biggest crocodile of the day. We made it to Croczilla's pond, only 12 miles away from our last crocodile spot. Unfortunately, there is no Croczilla to be seen. What's truly unique about this spot is it's right at the beginning of the alligator range and the tail end of the crocodile range. one of the only places in the world where they might overlap. But even with the potential to find both alligators and crocodiles, the only cool thing we could find was a pair of black vultures that Harvey really liked taking pictures of. The park is so vast, even when one area doesn't work out the way we hoped, there's always another one just down the road. So we headed to one of Harvey's favorite spots for observing wetland birds and large alligators. It's called the Nhinga Trail. This is a beautiful part of the park that is more tourist friendly, and it offers a web of boardwalks that comfortably wind their way through pristine wetlands. Somehow the pond was full of fish, birds, and turtles, even though the apex predators were literally sitting all over the place. The Nhinga Trail does a pretty good job at living up to its name, because we got to watch a real Nhinga eating lunch in a tree. The footage came out a little blurry, but I'm actually shooting this with my iPhone from across the pond and stabilizing it on a wooden post that I found. So I'm pretty happy it came out as clear as it did. Right next to the tree where the Nhinga was eating lunch, an episode of Jerry Springer was about to break out between two alligators. See this big guy? He seems to be the dominant alligator here at this pond, sort of like Freddy was the dominant crocodile down at Flamingo Bay. Well, right now, what you don't see off screen, there's a smaller alligator that he is chasing out of there. And right before we started filming, he was doing a dominant display, chomping his mouth on the top of the water, which makes a lot more noise than you might expect. But just as all of us thought we were about to see a fight break out between two male alligators, the smaller one thought better of it. He sunk under the water and he disappeared. We didn't see him again after that. Now, what you're seeing here, the same alligator, the same large male, he is now going to start circling the pond where he was just happy in one basking spot. Now he needs to do laps all around the pond to make sure everyone knows he is the king of this jungle. So he's going to swim right under that Nhinga. Do you see the Nhinga still up there in the tree, now drying out after eating that meal? And the alligator is going to just start circling around the whole area, letting everyone know he is in charge. You'll see he's going to start swimming around every bend, searching for challengers. And I think the other alligators here are smart. They know not to bother him. Some of the other people there watching the alligators were enjoying this just as much as we were.
Yeah, he did most of his chomping behind the bush. Now he's out in the open to film. He hasn't stopped doing it.
It's beautiful.
I was hoping he might bellow for us, but he hasn't done that.
Really cool.
I think Kenny does the best job of telling the story in his own words.
So there are two alligators in here, and one alligator was getting in the other's territory. So the bigger alligator wanted the littler one getting in his territory to get out of his area, and so he chomped, kind of like went like that. And it does this, like, it's really loud. It basically shows the other one that he needs to get out of his area, and so that the bigger one just chased the smaller one out, and it was really exciting.
And now he's done that and he is going off in the distance, so he's successfully chased the other male out of his territory. So
Guys, we have made it through the day. We're a little bit sunburned, we're a little bit exhausted, but now we're doing what's called road cruising. We are cruising down here in the southeast. We're hoping to see some snakes crossing the busy road. Remember, we talked to Bob, we talked to different friends, and they were seeing recently things like Burmese pythons, water snakes, cottonmouths. What were some other things, Harvey, that they're seeing?
Eastern diamondback rattlesnakes.
Oh, Eastern diamondback rattlesnakes. I don't think they saw...
Scarlet snakes.
Yes, scarlet snakes. Possibly some king snakes, possibly some pygmy rattlesnakes. So there's all kinds of things we could be seeing crossing the road right now. It sure seemed like we were in the perfect spot at the perfect time on day 5, but the snakes just weren't moving. So we decided to shift gears and check out that chameleon spot I mentioned earlier. Guys, we struck out with snakes tonight, so we switched gears, we switched it up. We went to a spot where there's invasive chameleons. They're from the Middle East, but they're right here in the southeastern United States, and we just found our first one. Check this out.
Well, here, there's an invasive population out here in the wild of these beautiful chameleons. So, guys, we've just found an invasive chameleon here in Florida. And gosh, we have one of these in our reptile room at home in Pennsylvania. Look at that mouth gaping. I will tell you, if he decides to get a bite of my finger, it is not going to feel good. They don't actually hunt everything by just gaping their mouth. They stick out their tongue. They have a tongue that's actually longer than their entire body. As you can see, that is not a small body. So they have a tongue that's longer than that. But if he does manage to get his mouth over my finger, he has got a powerful set of jaws. And that powerful set of jaws is what they use to crush the food in their mouth. See if you can get a close look at those feet. I love the feet on a chameleon. This is what they call a bite. He wants to bite us, but they have what's called a bipedal foot. That means two sides to the feet. They have 5 toes, but they're in 2 sides, where we kind of have one side over here with a thumb and one side with 4 fingers. They have 2 sides with 3 toes on one side, 2 sides on the other. And oh my gosh, guys, he has got his mouth gaping all over us. Oh, he's gonna bite me. Oh, it's gonna hurt. But if he gets me, I know it's gonna happen. But what a gorgeous male. Look at those beautiful colors he's showing us right now. What a wonderful show off. Oh, this is a treat. You know, we didn't get to see any live snakes on the road tonight, which we were bummed out because when we talked to Bob earlier, he saw, I think, 6 different species of snakes on the road last night. But this right now, I feel like completely makes up for the fact that we did not see a single snake out on the road. Gosh, I love chameleons. I love them in captivity. I love them in their natural habitat, but I love them here in the wild, even if it's an invasive population. My goodness, what did we see today? Alligators, crocodiles, we got all kinds of stuff.
Everglades Racers.
Everglades Racers. now we got this chameleon, and he is just about to chop me. I almost want to let him to show you guys, but I don't want to do it that much. So, oh my gosh. Oh, look at him. Look at those powerful jaws. He is so beautiful, guys. What a treat. This is so neat to see one of these in the wild.
Day 5 in the Everglades was amazing, but it was a long day. So on day 6, we decided to take it easy. Our plan was to drive down to the Everglades again that night around sunset and take another stab at road cruising, so we were just going to spend our morning around the condo. Kenny and I caught some of these anole lizards just to take a quick photo, and not to be outdone, Harvey managed to catch the only southern racer of the whole trip.
Harvey, do you want to tell us what we have here?
It's just a southern black racer. It was lined up along the rock here, basking in that sunlight right there. And my first initial dive was off and I missed. And then it went on top of the other rock, and once it started to slither away, I was able to rebound and grab it with my left hand.
Oh, you got a couple?
Yeah, a couple of bites, but they don't hurt.
Couple little marks there. That's really cool.
Real quick, chewed on my arm a little bit.
So I would guess that's probably our 12th racer maybe we've seen.
Probably.
And we have tried to catch most of them, and we have not come even close to any of them.
Must all over me.
So right now you smell like snake musk butt. We're off to a good start. We're catching snakes.
All right, well, let's set this guy down.
All right, go ahead and we'll just show everyone why they're called racers. Here's what they're gonna do. Look at that, guys. So extremely fast. Look at that, guys. You probably don't even see where he went. There he goes. And they're gone. Guys, it is a beautiful day. We're finding snakes, we're catching snakes.
We decided to focus our efforts that day on road cruising in the evening. We still did that light hike in the morning, just so Harvey could get himself chewed on by that grumpy racer, but then we took a break for a few hours before starting the long 3-hour trip back to the Everglades. For some reason, the snakes just weren't moving on day 5, so we had a feeling they were about to break loose on day 6. And golly, we were right.
Snake, 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 stop, snake. Garter.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Nice.
The beautiful. Yeah, nice one. Hey, buddy. Hey, how are you, pal?
Take the plasma.
What?
Hold the lens cap real quick.
Here we have a beautiful garter snake. This is a Florida garter. It's very similar to our Pennsylvania garters, but this is a really beautiful coloration. You can see they're known by that long stripe going from head to tail. Sometimes people see more stripes on the side. Sometimes they're a little feisty, especially this time at night.
In our first 15 minutes, we had already seen one water snake, which got away before we could film him, one big garter snake, and this second smaller garter snake.
Pretty little guy. Hey, buddy.
What's that?
You run up and check, would you, Ken?
Just quick ran across the road.
All right, well, if it's not moving like a snake, don't worry about it.
Probably a lizard. Oh, it's, what the heck? I told you, Dad.
Quick, camera.
Get the camera.
I got it.
Guys, we've got our first venomous snake of the day. This is our cottonmouth.
The cottonmouth, also called the water moccasin, is one of the most abundant venomous snakes in the state of Florida. A dose of their venom will send you directly to the hospital, but there's no reason to fear them because their venom comes in limited supply and they prefer to save it for their food if you just leave them alone. Don't believe the old wives' tales about moccasins chasing people. Every cottonmouth I've ever met was just like this one, either staying in one spot or trying to retreat. But you'll also notice we gave him plenty of respect and stayed out of his strike range. This would be the first of 3 cottonmouths we saw that night, and not the biggest one either.
Right, we got another one back here. We're guessing from driving by it's a cottonmouth. And it is good news. It's a cottonmouth. It's a very cool. It's actually a juvenile. Bad news is that it's already been hit. So the sad thing about road cruising is you're going to see a lot of snakes that have already been hit. But while we're here, we're going to check out that really cool yellow tail.
As juveniles, copperheads and cottonmouths just wiggle that pretty yellow tail around like a neon worm, hoping to attract frogs and other critters who are out hunting for their lunch. It's amazing what you can learn from roadkill.
We just cruised a humongous cottonmouth. No. Oh, shoot. Good. Hey, pal, stay here. Oh, look at that. He's giving us a beautiful display. Look at that gorgeous cottonmouth that he has there. Wow, so he's letting us know we gotta stay away. He's just giving us generous warning. This is not a snake that wants to hurt you, but he certainly will protect himself. You look at that big cottonmouth. Look at those fangs too. Boys, come see the cottonmouth.
We love to teach our own children about wildlife when we're there to do it safely, but if you're a kid watching this video, please never approach a venomous snake.
Just come look at how cottony his mouth is. Could you shine your light that way so I can get up close and without the shadow? I'm going to turn my light off and just rely on yours.
This cottonmouth illustrated just how hard they work to avoid humans. First, he tried to retreat when we stopped the car. Then he remained in one spot and flexed his bright mouth, hoping to avoid further contact. My GoPro was on a long tripod, and when it got too close to the snake, he gave one warning strike.
Oh my.
That's gonna be a cool video.
I need to do the tail rattle there too.
Even after one warning strike, the cottonmouth never moved another inch in our direction. It was a great chance for us to show the kids that venomous snakes are only dangerous when you don't give them enough space and respect.
What's keeping him from like running towards you?
That's not what they do, Kenny. It's just not what they do.
I was really hoping to find a yellow rat snake in Florida, but not like this. The first one we found was already run over on the road. The second one actually shot off the road so fast we didn't get a chance to film it. Thankfully, the next snake we found was alive and well, and while we were filming him, we met another herper who was cruising the same back road, and we instantly became friends.
A corn.
No way.
Dude, a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He's probably like a 2-year-old, I want to say. Aren't they awesome?
I've never seen one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, really? Yeah, that is a beautiful snake.
Yeah. Are you a nature person or herper?
What I'm out here for.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
dude.
Yes, sir.
Aren't they cool?
That is
Have you
incredible,
ever held
man.
one? They're
I have not held a corn snake.
And then have you seen their bellies? How black and white they are?
That is gorgeous.
That is so cool,
Dude,
isn't
you
it?
guys, that is awesome.
Yeah, this is our 9th snake of the night, and this is the coolest one
He's
so
really
far.
great. Can you mind if I get a couple photos?
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it?
definitely.
I'm Harvey.
Oh, that
Harvey,
light is
you said?
awesome.
Harvey, nice to meet you, Harvey. Kenneth's my middle name.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you as well. It's Trip.
Oh, that is so cool, isn't it?
Dude, you guys, that is fun. Sir, I drove down from South Carolina for work.
Okay.
And I'm a big nature fan, so I just had to stop by.
I'm from New York and he's from Pennsylvania.
There's nothing like running into other nature lovers in the field, and while we were filming this corn snake, there was a lot going on.
I heard the tree frog, guys.
Oh, no way.
The tree frog.
Where is your belly? Ollie, what is your belly? There we go. All right, keep going. Oh, I love to watch him go back. Releasing these guys is always the most rewarding part. He's gonna go right up that tree. He could be up there as far as a rat snake climbs, 20, 30, 50, 100 feet sometimes. Just way up to the top. It's amazing watching him go.
Corn snakes and rat snakes are closely related, and we've had some as pets ever since Kenny was a baby. Rat snakes are fairly common in Pennsylvania, but corn snakes are not native there, so it's pretty special when we get to play with a wild one.
We've got probably like 3 or 4 rat snakes and probably like 15 corn snakes.
And how many times have you ever seen one in the wild before tonight?
0.
This is Kenny's very first time seeing a wild corn snake. All right, guys, let's go find some more snakes. Finding a perfect corn snake and sharing the whole experience with that cool dude from South Carolina was such an amazing way to cap off a great night. We got back into the car and kept cruising, and technically we were still searching for snakes, but we were still in awe of the last few animals we had just met. At this point, it felt like it would have been impossible to do any better, but the best was yet to come. At the top of the list of snakes we would love to find but never expect to actually come across is the beautiful Scarlet king snake. Harvey and I have both been infatuated with them as long as we can remember, and Harvey actually used to keep a couple as pets many years ago. But they are so small and so secretive in the wild, we never thought we'd be lucky enough to actually run into one. And even on backcountry roads, people still wonder what you're doing when they drive by and see you filming snakes at night. We're looking at snakes.
What is that?
It's called a Scarlet king snake. It's one of the most beautiful snakes in the world. This is such a rare, lucky find. Scarlet king snakes are harmless to humans, but they're easily mistaken for the venomous coral snake, which can be deadly. You may have heard the rhyme, red on yellow, venomous fellow, red on black, friend of Jack. This rhyme works most of the time in North America, but like most rules in science, there are always a few exceptions. So if you're not sure, it's better to admire either of these beautiful snakes from a safe distance. After we spent a few minutes with this amazing reptile, he vanished back into the night, right in front of our eyes. After 6 amazing days, we were down to our last day in paradise. We stayed out so late road cruising the night before, we needed to sleep in on day 7. Instead of going on another hike when we got up, we decided to tour a hognose snake breeding facility. The owner of the facility has an amazing life story and he gave us a great interview, but we'll have to save that for another video. Our plan for day 7 was to pack up the car for our long drive home, but we still had one last spot to explore that night. It was a long dirt road that was a couple hours away from the condo, so we were going to cruise it around sunset and then immediately hit the highway and drive all night toward Pennsylvania. So whatever we found or didn't find on day 7, it would be our last chance for this trip.
All right, let's ask the boys. What are you hoping to see tonight at our last road cruising spot?
A pygmy rattlesnake.
Kenny?
A Burmese Python.
Oh, Kenny brings up a good one. Burmese pythons. We ran into so many python hunters in the Everglades, but not a single python.
The same week we were in Florida, python researchers removed this 15-foot female in southwest Florida. She weighed in at 126.5 pounds, and a necropsy revealed 70 developing eggs inside of her. One of the researchers told me the pythons have pretty much invaded everywhere south of I-75, and they seem to be expanding north. Kyle and Meg share a lot of their awesome herpetology adventures on Instagram, if you'd like to learn more.
All right, so we just pulled over this beautiful pond on this back road, and look at that gator. Holy cow. He is moving now. Oh, that I believe is the dominant male.
As soon as we made it to our final cruising spot, the action started to unfold. There were big alligators splashing all around us. A fresh cottonmouth skeleton was laying in the road, and about a dozen raccoons were running back and forth. And as soon as the sun began to set, the snakes started to move.
All right, Harv, go ahead and let this guy bite you a little bit. So this is a non-venomous water snake. they can bite you. The bite's not dangerous. They'll just leave a little bit of a mark. And you can see this guy. I'll just stop and get him for you. So just, hey, Harv, I'll get him if you'll film for me. So what water snake do you think we have here?
There are about 9 different species of non-venomous water snakes in the genus Nerodia, and they all share some pretty similar characteristics.
So yeah, a lot of times the top marking doesn't look that pretty, and the top marking helps them camouflage. But if we look at the bottoms are absolutely gorgeous.
What's that?
What's what, buddy?
I think he got hurt.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's got a rib sticking out, Harvey.
Wow.
So snakes are just, they're amazing creatures. If you guys look closely, are you able to get a shot of that rib, Harv? Can you see it?
That's a rib?
Yeah, it looks like one of his ribs is actually sticking out there.
Can it be a thorn?
Well, we'll see if it is a thorn in a second. I'm going to try to pull it out. Now, if this is a thorn, it'll pull out. No, I'm almost sure it's a rib. I'm going to work on it. Yeah, that's not coming out. That's one of his ribs.
Amazingly, this snake will probably be just fine even with his injury. But when the snakes start coming out, so do the mosquitoes.
Kenny's looking for the most important thing right now. It's the bug spray. Spray that stuff on, Kenny. All right, Kenny's having a bug spray party. That's very nice. Get that all over right now. The mosquitoes are eating us alive. All right, now do my legs, would you? Ugh, it's in my mouth. It is not. Oh, this is horrible. No wonder the bugs don't like it. All right, Kenny. If I don't make it home, it's not going to be the cottonmouth venom. It's going to be the bug spray chemicals. You okay, Kenny? All right, don't eat the bug spray next time. Oh, this is awesome. So here we got a ribbon. Dude, I mean, guys, this is crazy. You might not believe this. This is my life for a ribbon snake. I've actually never seen a ribbon snake in the wild before.
I never have either.
So we're going to get some great pictures of that. And then I'm going to get some video of it as well.
I think skinny guy.
The ribbon snake is one of the cutest little snakes you'll find in North America. Much like corn snakes and rat snakes are closely related, ribbon snakes and garter snakes are also related. In fact, they're in the same genus. It's called Thamnophis. So it's very easy to see why people might mistake a small garter snake as being a ribbon snake. But watch when this ribbon snake starts moving. You'll see why they get their name. They really look a lot like ribbons as they start moving around. The next snake we found was this little ringneck. Adults usually measure only 10 to 15 inches, so this one is nearly full grown. But that's as big as he needs to be to eat a diet of slugs and worms and maybe some little salamanders. They're actually so tiny that their little mouths can't even bite us. Not that they ever try. Like a lot of the snakes you see in this video, they don't look very impressive on the top side. But I want to show you something.
Hold on, we got his belly. That's what I want to show you guys, is that beautiful belly. Look at these. Some snakes just have the prettiest bellies, and you would never know if you don't take the time to look. Right, we just cruised another ringneck. This is snake number like 1 million.
5. How did I put on
Right, bye, little guy. Is that 5 snakes on this road? Still 4 species. All right, let's find some more. Another snake here. Harv, tell us what we have.
It's just a ribbon snake.
So this is snake number, is this snake number 6 for this road?
Yep.
Yeah.
6.
Right, so we're stuck at 4 species. We have a couple ribbons, a couple ringnecks, of course that racer and that initial water snake. Ah, there he is. Look at that cute little guy. Oh my goodness. All right, Kenny's gonna hold it.
First, put your finger around the blades.
I'm just worried about hurting him.
No, you won't.
Yeah, you just,
Too skinny.
remember, use all 10 fingers to grip it to spread out that grip. And then you can go ahead and release him anywhere here in the grass, Ken. There we go. And look how fast he disappears. Oh, he's actually taking his time. All right, good find, guys. Another snake. Let's go find our target species.
One of the great things about looking for snakes is everything else you find when you're in the field. We weren't the only ones looking for snakes. That's one of an owl's favorite foods, and we found them all over these fence posts out hunting.
Look at that buck going. Boy, that's a nice one. That one's probably an 8-pointer. Look at him looking at us. Over in our field to the right, we have quite a few more. So they're looking for a spot to jump that fence. Just go slow. Oh, it looks like they got under the fence. I think that one might go over. See what, oh, what a huge buck. A little blurry, but hopefully you guys can see this. And so there's a deer can jump so high, unbelievably high. Let's see if he does. He's probably gonna jump right over. It's my guess as we get closer. Wow, he's really letting us get close. See what he does. We don't want to scare him. Oh, he decided to go through it. Oh, these guys are brilliant. Dude, is that a rat snake?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, this is one of the snakes that we hadn't seen yet that I really wanted to see. It's a beauty.
What is it?
This is a yellow rat snake.
I thought they were in the Everglades.
No, they have different rat snakes. But in the south, they have the yellows. We have the blacks up in Pennsylvania. They're one of my absolute favorites. Oh my gosh, and these guys are the coolest snakes. If you ever meet a rat snake, they are one of the most acrobatic, one of the most athletic, one of the most curious snakes you'll ever meet. Look at him getting curious. Hey, come here, buddy. So I'm gonna let him bite me a little if he has to. Oh my gosh. This, you know what? It's not a pygmy that we said we were trying to find. It's not a king snake that we're trying to find, but this is really one of the top snakes that I was hoping to see down here. But this is, oh, let him bite you. I'm gonna show everyone. Let him bite you so I can show everyone. All right, so I'll let him bite me if you want. Here you go. You wanna bite me, Hita? There you go.
Don't worry, he's not venomous.
So look at how curious he is. He'll do a little bite and then he lets right go. These are such fun, curious snakes. You guys want to get bit?
No.
As you know, even in Pennsylvania, I love to let rat snakes go on a tree. So I'm going to show you what awesome climbers they are. Just follow us over to one of these branches right where we found him, and we're going to let him go on a tree, show you how awesome they are climbing. Look at this. He's going to have zero problem choosing where to go. Put him right here. Right, and get a good close shot at him, Ken, and we'll just see how these rat snakes glide from branch to branch. Look at him. He has no problem deciding he wants to get off of me and climb through this tree and climb away. Get a close-up of him. Oh my gosh, I love watching these rat snakes climb. Rat snakes are one of the coolest. So look at him in that branch. Harv's, of course, filming and photographing. I can't even tell you how much we love this, guys. Seeing a rat snake is one of the best snakes to ever see in the wild. They're so fun to observe. Just look at him in there. Look at that cute little guy. Oh gosh, just such a beautiful snake. Look at how big he is. And that one can grow 6 or 7 feet if he's lucky.
We didn't know it at the time, but the yellow rat snake would be the last reptile we found, and we couldn't have scripted a better ending. What a perfect way to finish our adventure with the southern counterpart of one of my favorite northern snakes. After we let him go in the tree, the temperatures continued to drop below 70, and at that point the snakes stopped moving across the road. So we got back on the highway and headed north. Harvey and I took turns driving while the boys were fast asleep in the back seat. After the week we just had, I wonder what they were dreaming about while we drove home. I know I'll be dreaming about this adventure for quite a while. Thanks for giving reptiles a chance.